If I give you the choice between a 45-minute flight or an 8-hour ferry ride, you might think it's an easy decision, but you know what? Think again. Alright, so many of you will be in Athens before going to Santorini, either because you're coming from outside of Europe, meaning you don't have a direct flight to Santorini, or you do come from Europe, but it's often cheaper to fly through Athens anyway, plus you get to see the capital, which many of you will want to do. So, just to give you an idea, the city center of Athens is here, the airport is here, and the ferry port, also called Piraeus port, is here. And these three areas are very well connected with public transport. From the center to the airport, it's the blue metro line. And if you want to go from the center to Piraeus, it's the green line. So as you can see, going to the airport or going to the ferry port are both very easy, and they take the same amount of time, around 40 minutes. Now, of course, if you're flying to Athens, but you don't intend to visit the city, you're only there for a layover, well, then I guess it makes more sense to also fly to Santorini instead of using the ferry, because it does take 1 hour and a half to go from the airport to the ferry port, so I'm not sure it's worth it. Now, the obvious advantage of the plane is the duration. Only 45 minutes instead of the 5 to 8 hours by ferry. And by the way, why did I just say from 5 to 8 hours for a ferry? Well, that's because there are two types of ferries, the slow ones and the fast ones. Greece's most popular ferry company is called Blue Star Ferries. And why are they so popular? Because they're very cheap. And they're cheap because they never go straight from Athens to their end destination. Instead, they stop at several other islands on the way. But listen closely, this is a very important point. If this is your first time on the Greek islands, this is actually a good thing, because on your way to Santorini, you'll get to catch a glimpse of islands like Paros or Naxos, places you would otherwise probably never see. And trust me, it's an awesome experience. And by the way, the faster ferries, the ones that go to Santorini in only 5 hours instead of 8, they don't do any of these intermediate stops, which removes part of the fun in my opinion. Plus, the high-speed ferries tend to make you feel seasick much more easily, because they're faster and lighter, so they tend to get bullied around by the waves much more. Plus, there's usually no available deck on these boats. You have to remain inside, which makes you lose a big part of the experience in my opinion. Now, of course, if this is your second or third time in Greece and you've already seen all of that, then it probably makes more sense to go on SpeedJet to save some time. Oh, and by the way, the main ferry company for that is called SeaJet. Alright, let's talk about prices now. Between plane tickets and ferry tickets, which one do you think is more expensive? You're probably thinking plane, and you know what? You're right and wrong at the same time. Ferries have flat rates, so whether you buy your ticket 1 year or 1 hour prior to departure, you'll pay the same price. For the Blue Star ferry going from Athens to Santorini, that'll be around 60 euros. With the SeaJet, it's around 90 euros. Planes, however, have very fluctuating prices. If you buy your tickets way ahead of time, let's say at least 6 months before your holidays, you'll be able to book an Athens-Santorini flight for 30 euros. That's half the fare of the ferry. That's with low-cost airlines like Ryanair or Volotea, which probably means you'll have to pay something extra for your luggage, but even then it's still a very good price. On the other hand, if you book your flight only 2 or 3 months ahead, or even worse, a few weeks ahead, then you'll see prices around 200 euros. So if you're planning your vacations last minute, and there's nothing wrong with that, ferries will definitely be a much nicer option for you because of their flat rate system. And just so you know, ferries rarely sell out, especially the Blue Star ones, since they're so big. So even in the high season, you shouldn't be too concerned about booking a ferry last minute. So as a summary, to go from Athens to Santorini, the pros of coming by plane is that it's quicker and they're potentially cheaper than ferry tickets if you book early enough. The pros of coming by ferry are that, one, you get to see much more of the Greek islands, which, let me repeat, really is a unique experience. And two, you have the flexibility to book last minute and still pay the same price. Okay, so if at this point you're thinking of taking the boat, I've got 2 pieces of advice for you. 1, pack enough food and water for the 8-hour journey. You can buy everything on board, but it's obviously very overpriced. And 2, if you want to have the full experience and see as much as you can, make sure to go on the top deck, especially when approaching the islands. And this is even more true when you're getting close to Santorini, because before reaching the port of Santorini, you'll sail for 20 minutes inside the Caldera Bay, and the views are insane. Now obviously I'm not telling you to take that slow ferry both ways. If you took the boat already to come to Santorini, then just fly back to Athens or anywhere else in Europe. No need to spend another 8 hours on the sea. Unless you plan to visit another Greek island, in which case you will continue traveling by boat, since there are usually no flight connections between islands. If you want to book one of these ferries, I'm leaving you down below my affiliate link to the website of Ferryhopper. This is by far the best ferry portal to book on when coming to the Greek islands, because this is a Greek website unlike all the others which are usually American. So for instance, if you're trying to book a ferry between island A and island B, but there actually isn't any boat doing this route, other ferry portals will just tell you, sorry, not possible. But Ferryhopper, since it was designed by Greeks for Greek islands, it will tell you, okay, look, there are no direct connections, but you can get there by going through that other island. So there you go, Ferryhopper, very useful website. That's why all Greeks use it, and the link is down below. So at this point, you probably have a better understanding whether you will arrive in Santorini by plane or by ferry. If it's by plane, you should watch this video. It tells you how to reach your hotel after exiting the airport. And this one is the same for the ferry port, in case you arrive by boat. And there you go. Hope you guys liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.